transforming worlds to a better wonder to behold. No poverty, zero hunger for the elderly or younger. Good health and well-being, good education, empowering women to become sensation. Clean water sanitation is a right of every nation. Economic growth inclusive and sustained through industry innovation and purely dedication. Yeah, infrastructure be gain, reduce inequality for sure. Make human settlements secure. Take urgent actions to combat climate change. Conserve life below water and land. Ensure we do not estrange. Justice for all, a peaceful and empathetic nations. Let us all partner to achieve these goals and provide much needed salvation. Each one teach 10, no compensation. Each one teach 10, no compensation.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. And good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, geremed, terve, and maraban. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 82 of the podcast, Each One Teach 10, An Amazing World of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is a part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Dr. Oshin Puri. So, how are you doing today?
Hi Namya, am I audible?
Yeah, you're perfectly audible.
Okay. So yeah, Namya, I'm doing great and thank you for having me today. And how has your day been?
It's been great as well. And honestly, I'm honored as well to have you on my podcast. So, before we begin with the questions, I would love to give a short introduction about Dr. Oshin Puri to you. So, he's a research oriented medical student with over 5 years of part time clinical and laboratory research experience, passionate about human cognition and behavior in health and disease. He's eager to advance this passion through full time research in neuroscience, gaining experience in human behavior experiments, neuroimaging, and neuromodulation, with the long term goal of practicing as a functional neurosurgeon scientist. Committed to enhancing the understanding of cognition and behavior and innovating the surgical techniques to treat associated pathologies. So he's also a fellow Top 50 Global Student Prize 2022 recipient, and I'm all the more excited for today's conversation. So before we begin, we would love to know more about you and the work that you're doing.
Sure, Namya. First of all, thank you for having me and giving me a platform to share my story, share my work, and definitely contribute to your initiative of Each One Teach 10. So yeah, as you said, I am a medical student. I am in the last month of my MBBS, so I'll soon be graduating, and then moving on to uh, sometime, 3 to 4 years of full-time research in neuroscience. And within neuroscience, my area of interest, as you mentioned, is human cognition and behavior, and my end long-term goal is to train as a functional neurosurgeon scientist and then practice. As a person, I have a lot of hobbies, but the one closest to my heart is theater. So I I during school days I used to actively participate in theater, but in college days it has become a little less. But still, I'm always excited about opportunities to, participate in theater. And I also believe that, as a healthcare professional as well as a human being itself, we have a lot of potential to bring a change. And that is why I actively volunteer for a number of different causes that I believe in, the most important being youth mental health. And I advocate for youth mental well being over different platforms that I get an opportunity to speak in, as well as volunteer with non-profit organizations and work towards improving, bringing a smile on every young individual's face. I also strongly believe in mentorship in education, and hence I seek mentorship from my seniors, and also I'm always available as a mentor for juniors who want to, learn about something that I know, and you know, in whatever way I can share my knowledge and my experience with them. So yeah, and I became a part. I was honored to become a part of the Global Student Prize community through my work in the field of mental health, and was categorized as a health and well-being change maker in 2022. So yeah, that's a little about me.
That is indeed very inspirational that you have your professional mindset towards medical field, but you have theater as your passion. And that's amazing that you love to follow your passion whenever you get time at your college, and you've always been, actively present in the school time as well. And I totally agree with the part of when you said you always believe that everybody has the potential to bring a change, and you live up to that phrase by actively volunteering for youth mental health and well-being, as well as for other organizations and NGOs. And I truly love the point of mentorship, wherein you believe in both learning and sharing, because that is how I personally believe that we can grow together. Because if you're learning something, you can always go ahead and share that with other younger individuals or elder individuals. And of course, I'm really glad to have you as one of the fellow GSP, Global Student Prize community members, and really proud of you becoming the Health and Wealth Ambassador. So, congratulations for that.
Thank you so much, Ramya, and it's definitely an honor to share this platform as well as the Global Student Prize community with you as well.
Thank you so much. Well, before we begin, I would like to ask you, what inspired you to pursue internal medicine at AIMS?
So yeah, it's there's a very interesting story behind it, you know. So how to put it? So my entire family is, a science background family. Um, my mother are three sisters. All of them, two of them studied biology with maths in their class 11th and 12th, and one of my aunts was in commerce. But then, more or less, we are, from very inclined towards science. In my class ninth, early in my class 10th, I was pretty determined to, pursue biology with maths, in that mindset of, keeping my options open. I also joined coaching institute for my class 10 science, and, to start setting a space for my entrance exam and everything. Somewhere down the line in the middle of my class 10th, I went to a trip to Dubai. That trip really changed my career prospects, in terms that I felt I should rather take up commerce and become a CA and get into, the semi business line kind of a thing. And I was pretty determined to settle in Dubai and everything. I had worked out how to go ahead with CPT and all of those things. I asked my mother. My mother was like, "Okay, I'll fill in whatever you want to do." And 15 January, I got my stream selection form. 31st Jan was the deadline. I remember that till 30th night, I was confused what to do. When I sat to fill up the form, I said to my mother that, whatever you want me to pursue, you just fill in and I'll study. I don't have a problem with that because I'm super confused. She said, I'll not do that. It's your decision and you're supposed to take it. And even though I was determined to go ahead and pursue CA, I opted for biology with maths. I filled that as my first option and commerce with maths as my second option. My mother happily, readily signed it and I submitted the form. I still had doubts whether or not I made the right decision, but I went by it. Then I continued my coaching into a 2 year program. I took up biology, I had maths, and I was pretty clear by then that I will prepare for pre medical. So my coaching was physics, chemistry, and biology, and maths was another option that I had kept. And everything was smooth sailing. I really used to love studying biology, and 11th class went well, 12th class went well. I was preparing for medical entrance exams and everything. I also gave my NEET exam. I was like super confident that I'll score a 600 plus score and then I'll get any college in Delhi and everything. I like a lot of confidence after giving the exam, but I refused to total my score. And until the exam came, I did not know that I will land up with the 557 score, and then I'll not really land up in a government college in Delhi and all of those things. AIMS was never on my radar. Like I know I'm live in front of an audience, still I'll admit that AIMS was never at my radar. And the reason will sound so weird. So in Delhi, it was like if I get an option to study in Maulana Azad Medical College or in AIMS Delhi, I'll choose Maulana Azad Medical College. So people used to ask me why, because I used to feel that AIMS are very research centered institutes. They have a lot of resources for research. I used to find that people who do research are sort of, I don't know whether I should say this here or not, but like half crack kind of people. So I thought that I'll not go to AIMS. But then things turned out this way that my score in AIMS exam turned out to be really good, even though I did not expect it. The expectation was so low, I did not even check my result. My friends found out my roll number, they checked it in the list, they told me all of those things happened. And then at that point of time, AIMS Rishikesh was the best institute I could have gotten into. Now, cut to 6 years today, I realized that how destiny was with me. I only became one of the most research active students in my batch. And being away from home in Rishikesh, I've grown a lot as a person. And yeah, so the entire journey, all in all, was great. And my purpose of becoming a doctor came from class 8th when I started traveling by metro all by myself. And I used to come across a lot of um, beggars and ill people on metro stations. And I really felt like if I could donate to them, but my mother used to say that money is often misused. And I used to wonder how can I really help them without, giving them money. That point of time was one place where I felt that, okay, if I become a doctor, at least I can help out the ill people. And that was my inspiration to become a doctor. Ideally, this part should have been before the class 10 story, but yeah, putting all the pieces together, I have a very stereotypical cliche motivation of changing the world and improving lives, and I'm very proud of that. That is what my motivation is. And yeah, I think that's what has inspired me to pursue medicine, and AIMS was destiny, and the best decision destiny could have taken for me.
That is, I believe, really encouraging that you've had that inspiration of becoming a doctor when you were traveling by metro and you wanted to help the underprivileged, but if you couldn't give money to them, you had that mindset that yes, I can become a doctor and at least I can give my bit to this world by helping the ill people. And that is indeed, like you talked about having a science background and you were determined to pursue math and biology. You had your coaching set up, but then all of a sudden you have that thing like, okay, no, I want to pursue commerce and CA because I can relate to it. That sometimes even I had the belief of going towards non-medical and take up physics, but then I thought about taking humanities later because I believe I have my mindset towards political science, towards history. At the same time, and been able to propagate game-based learning with STEM and ICT skills. So it always doesn't matter, what stream you pick up, because but then it helped me a lot to furnish my skills in different subjects, which I'm really passionate about. But talking about you, like you were having that thing that 15th you got your stream selection form, until 30th, like that's the last day you were confused. You asked your mother to do it, but then she said that no, you can do it yourself. But I think that was an inner instinct that maybe shot up that, okay, let's choose math and bio. And you're talking about the NEET getting a 557 score. and AIMS not being part of radar. But then again, it was just because of not getting indulged into research. But then, as you said, cut through to 6 years today, you're a person who is a research oriented individual. So again, I think I believe in the part of destiny. It plays a really strong role, and you don't know what's in store for you. So going with the flow is what matters, and what helps you to be, a better individual, and helps you to shape yourself, and then just be cool with learning new and more, and learning new things, and accepting whatever life has in store for you, and just keep on going forward.
Yeah, and I must appreciate how you kept a track of my entire story. I really felt like I was going on and on and on with unnecessary details. But I mean, thank you for keeping a track of everything.
No worries. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving on for my next question is, you won prestigious awards like Incision Global Surgery Research Proposal Program and Neuro Hacks 2021. So how did these accomplishments shape your perspective on your career path and your future goals?
This is a very exciting question, and I do bring this up a lot with my juniors. So, even though I'm studying in an AIMS, it is situated in Rishikesh, which is borderline small town slash village or city kind of. It's not even a city, right? So we don't really have exposure to other educational institutions or other medical colleges per se. Coming from Delhi, I know how having other schools around or other colleges around really influences your growth. When you go to inter-school competitions, you meet people outside your school. You get to know what are students up to and everything. On the other hand, when I came to Rishikesh, it was pretty isolated. I wasn't aware what students outside my institute are doing. What is the general you know trajectory of a medical student? What all co-curriculars can one pursue, or anything of that sort? Even though I had friends in Delhi and in other medical colleges across India, we didn't used to spend time discussing, okay, what are you up to these days, but more like personal chats. So in my initial days, I was really lost. It used to be only books, and first year medicine is anatomy, which is a very heavy subject. So anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, that I used to be my life. In second year, I first joined AMSA India, that is Asian Medical Students Association, the India chapter. And through there, I came to know that, okay, there are things happening outside the domain of a medical college as well. There are medical student organizations that are hosting quizzes, they are hosting conferences, they are hosting exchanges, international discussions, so on and so forth. So, I started joining their events, I started participating in their activities, I took up a leadership role there, and met so many more people across India who were doing something or the other. That is when, actually, I would say my growth or my journey began. Because meeting people working in a leadership position in a medical student organization gave me a number of important skills, like writing application answers, very important, in skills that I'm using till date, even for my PhD applications, right? Then professionalism, then using tools like the G Suite, how to schedule meetings, how to keep a record of meeting minutes, so many important day to day, skills. And then eventually I transitioned into AMSA International. I joined the Journal of AMSA International, or JAMSA, as the chief editor. 2 years working there, I learned so much more about research and publishing, and how it told me about the ins and outs, about predatory journals, about plagiarism, about publication details, about reviewing, so on and so forth. So many important skills. And through this entire journey, I came to know about so many other non-profit associations working. I became part of them. I started participating in their initiatives. One such Incision Global Surgery Research Proposal Program was another um, such an initiative which I came across, and I just thought, okay, why not? I have a habit of, if I come across an opportunity, let's try it out. Even if things don't work out, what do we have to lose? So, like that, I applied there. Then I came across a student initiative grant from Association of Medical Education in Europe. Around the same time, I applied there as well. Then I think the neurohacks by Simply Neuroscience from a neuroscience association in the students neuroscience association in the US also happened around the same time. So I just kept on participating in whatever opportunities came my way, and all of them have given me innumerable skills that I'm using till date. I mean, since neurohacks was a hackathon, for the first time I learned how do we make teams in a hackathon, how do we work on a innovative idea on a device or an app or something like that, and what are the details you must look into when you design an app from a computer science perspective, from a technical perspective, things that I would have never learned in my medical college. Similarly, writing grant proposals, receiving grants, how do we work with grants, all of these are innumerable important skills that I learned. And I would say that these accomplishments are just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, if I apply to 10 places, I get one of them. And it's not just this one that is important for learning. It's all those 10 that are important for learning. Every application that I'm not selected for gives me an opportunity to review what might have gone wrong. How could I have improved? Right? The place where I get selected, I know, okay, this is something that was fine. But the place where I did not get selected gives even more opportunity to learn. Because when you get a rejection, you I make it a habit to stretch my boundary, right? To improve myself, to work on myself. So definitely these accomplishments and the rejections, more importantly, have really helped me to shape my career path, to shape my future goals, because this it is this exploration through which I came across neuroscience, neurosurgery, and you know the latest interventions that are happening. What inspired me to pursue that field. One last thing I would like to add in terms of perspective, you know, applying to such opportunities really gives you a perspective of your standing across the world. I mean, these international programs really give you an opportunity to meet students who are doing excellently in their fields. You get to meet to them, you talk to them, you get inspired, and it really shapes your perspective. Instead of talking to people who say that this is too ambitious or this is something which cannot be done, you get to meet students like you yourself, Namya, who is such a big inspiration of what uh, how much of a change can a student bring. So the the very fact that, okay, even this is possible really shapes your perspective, and really, I would say, redefines your perspective, redefines ambition, and takes it to new heights. I think I went very long again. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Actually, listening to you is so motivating that I'm just, falling into the trance of, the story that you're weaving and listening to all the thoughts that you are telling us. And I'm sure the audience is able to connect with you a lot. So um, please do not be afraid of sharing more thoughts. We'd love to listen a lot from you. And of course, like you talked about, having less exposure to different education institutions and you were isolated in the university. You didn't know much about the general trajectory of medical students, and for the first few years it was just like books and anatomy and biochemistry. But then when you got into AMSA India, you were able to understand that there are a lot of things happening outside that isolated community. When you got to join events, you got a leadership role, and that's how your growth journey began. And I really love the part of different skills that you learned, such as making application answers, professionalism, ICT tools, research, publishing, and again, like grant proposals as well. So I think you mentioned about grabbing opportunities. because even if it's a small one or a big one, taking them and grabbing them at the right time is, what clicks at the end of the day. And of course, when it comes to accomplishments and rejections both are equally valuable for your life, because one, they help you to understand that you're on the right track. You just have to keep on continuing. And if it's a rejection, you understand where you can improve and what went wrong. And of course, networking is the key, because if you're able to meet like-minded individuals or individuals from you which you can learn from, it helps to build your perspective. It helps to, of course, get a new perspective and then add that to your perspective and share it to the rest of the world as well. So that's how, again, we learn, share, and grow together with networking. And of course, by learning new skills in life, because they always go ahead forever, so you just need to keep on learning and sharing.
Definitely not bad.
So we talked about, how you've been in the field of healthcare. So how do you see, the intersection between healthcare and community engagement impacting social well-being? Because you've been, actively involved in different volunteer activities, from student-led health camps to mental health programs with the art of living. So we would love to know more about that.
I mean, honestly speaking, there's no intersection between community engagement and healthcare. If you see, healthcare is actually community engagement itself. I
Oh,
mean, the
true.
profession itself is, you know, it's if you see the profession in its authenticity, it's about community engagement. It's just that you don't go to the community comes to you, right? They come to you and you help them out. But definitely, somewhere, I have come to realize that mental health, especially, is one such area where, even though it is extremely prevalent in the community, they won't come to healthcare. This is where I find, this is another reason I find mental health as my, you know, passion. Because see, somebody who has diabetes will have certain symptoms, they'll come to the hospital or a clinic. Somebody who meets with an accident would come to the emergency. Somebody who faints or falls, again, they would come to the emergency. Somebody has diarrhea, they'll go to a clinic, so on and so forth. But somebody who has depression, will they really go to the clinic as easily as somebody with diarrhea or with, fever? No. Somebody who has schizophrenia would not even know that there's something wrong with them. Somebody who's having OCD and is having anxiety throughout the day for certain ununderstandable reasons, they won't even recognize that it's a problem and it can be treated. Right. So this is where I believe that community engagement somewhere becomes important along with healthcare rather than being a part of it. And the other place where I feel is that it's not just about mental health disorders, but it is about mental well being. I mean, the WHO defines that health is not about absence of a disease, right? It's about a complete state of social, mental, spiritual, and physical well being, right? So, similarly, we don't have to target, okay, people should not be depressed. We need to target people should be happy, right? And again, that is something where, again, community engagement becomes very important, because somebody who is not generally sad but also not generally happy would again not visit a doctor, right? I mean, they would be like, chalo chal raha hai, things are happening, going by the flow. And that is where I feel that, overcoming the stigma related to mental health disorders and introducing the concept of mental well-being is where community engagement and societal well-being becomes important. And that is why I volunteer with the Art of Living Foundation, which through meditation, yogic practices, encourages mental well-being and not just absence of mental health disorders. And at a personal level or through forums where I get an opportunity to advocate, I advocate to, you know, break the stigma associated with depression or with mania or with bipolar anxiety. And Namya, like we discussed during the student mental health week, loneliness, right? Normalizing the happening of these things and encouraging people to seek help when required is also very important. So yeah, that is how I would, if I were to summarize, healthcare as a profession itself involves a lot of community engagement, and it gives you an opportunity. It gives you a wonderful opportunity when the community is already coming to your doorstep, and all you need to do is be available for them. But somewhere it goes beyond the scope of healthcare to advocate for mental well-being and to encourage and to fight against the stigma associated with mental health disorders. And I believe these are very important virtues for a happy and well, a happy society and societal well-being.
True, that is indeed very significant that healthcare and community engagement work together to make any society healthier and stronger. It's just that healthcare in itself is community engagement, but the community comes to you. And when communities get involved in healthcare, they build trust and make sure everybody can get what they need. And by teaching, I think, about staying healthy and involving them in decisions about their health, we can prevent problems and treat them better when they happen. And especially when you're talking about people not recognizing their problems, when they're able to talk about it openly, when they have that state of that we can reach out to people, and accepting them for what they are, or who they are, or what issues they have, they'll be able to easily overcome them when they're able to speak it out. And again, it's like you said, mental well-being over mental disorders, wherein after everything in life you can achieve a state of nirvana. And then of course the art of living, wherein you have been able to encourage mental well-being as well by being part of different organizations conducting workshops as well. So ultimately, I personally believe that it's about everyone working together so that we can make sure everyone has a chance to be healthy and happy.
Definitely, Namya. Everybody, not only the chance, everybody has the right to be healthy and happy.
Absolutely, totally agree with that. Moving on now to my next question for you. So, as the chief editor of the Journal of Asian Medical Students Association and a reviewer for various prestigious journals, what are some key insights you've gained about the importance of scientific dissemination and peer review in advancing medical knowledge?
Yeah, Namya. So, these being the chief editor of JAMSA has been one of the most precious experiences throughout my medical school life. I mean, I was at the that leadership position for 2 years, and I've learned so much about through you know being the chief editor of JAMSA. I mean, when you're the chief editor, the first thing that comes to you is the responsibility as well as the power to make the right decision of what should be reaching the medical student community across Asia through the platform of JAMSA. And it might seem a very seamless question, but I have been stuck in the dilemma so many times that I personally believe that this article is well written, it has some insights, but does this convey something that needs attention of the entire medical student community across Asia Pacific? And this has given me a very peculiar knack towards identifying you know minute details about research, about medical evidence, about literature. Or, as I would say, it has really helped me develop my critical appraisal skills. And as a scientist, as a STEM student, for critical appraisal becomes very important. I mean, even ocean is a small word to say the amount of literature that is available. I mean, you open Google and you'll find oceans and oceans and oceans of literature. But which one is reliable? What should guide your knowledge? What should guide your work? What should guide your research? Is something you have to decide. And you can decide that only and only if you have strong critical appraisal skills to identify the most minute details. Those are the skills I developed with the power slash responsibility of being the chief editor of JAMSA. Similarly, as a reviewer, it's reviewers. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank reviewers across entire STEM who take out selfless time to review articles and give long feedback about how things can be improved, how some results have been misinterpreted, so on and so forth. Their contribution to STEM is often overlooked, right? I learned that being in that place. When I'm reading an article and I have to give a detailed review to it, and at times the author might not accept those changes, but they might accept those changes, and it might contribute towards the decision of the journal, it might not contribute to the decision of the journal. Yet every time I am expected to give my 100% and I do that, right? So a reviewer puts in a lot of effort for the betterment of the entire scientific community, that the right information reaches the scientific community. Another very important skill for everyone who's listening is, at least in medicine, this has become increasingly common lately. But a lot of predatory conferences and a lot of predatory journals have started coming into place, with where you can publish substandard work, or I would say not peer reviewed work, not scrutinized work, by paying. Now, what happens is this is adding to the already, you know, enormous pool of literature. But it also becomes important that the person who is reading and gaining knowledge from that knows what sources to rely on and what not to. Another very, very important skill for anybody and everybody in STEM, that identifying the right evidence, being able to scrutinize in order to gain the right knowledge, gain the right perspective, and contribute to research towards the right direction. So, definitely, these experiences have helped me in these terms to develop these skills. And also, leadership has been an important part of it. International relations, working with a team from, I mean, in my second year of as chief editor of JAMSA, I had a team of people from across 15 or 16 countries across Asia, Asia Pacific, working in different time zones, having different language preferences, different dialects. And my team size increased up to almost 70 people. So, being culturally respectful, being considerate of time, being considerate of academic schedules, yet trying to deliver the most professional and most quality work. I mean, it was a roller coaster, and a roller coaster worth all the adrenaline.
Indeed, really, really inclining. And you totally understood what exactly is the importance of having a responsibility, and when you have the power, how to use it in the right way. And it's really amazing that you understood the importance of does the article that you're reviewing convey a strong message to the community that's reading it, or if you're able to identify minute details, and if you're able to narrow the niche through the oceans of articles that's available across Google and any other search engine. And if you're able to understand that the right information is being able to given out to the audience, and most importantly, if you're aware, if you're informed, and you're able to gain the right perspective as well at the end of the day. So absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for answering that.
My pleasure, Nanya.
So, I have this fun question for you before we wrap up today's discussion. So, if you could have tea or coffee with any historical figure, who would you choose?
Hmm. Now, this is an interesting question.
Mhm.
This reminds me that uh, a similar question was also asked to me in my um, Global Student Prize interview.
Ooh, interesting.
Not it was not about coffee, but it was about one individual you look up to in life,
Okay.
right? And I would say I have a pretty standard way of answering it. That it won't be a single person, because I believe all those people who have contributed so much to history, everybody has so much to offer. And I don't want to limit my perspective to an individual's experiences or an individual's opinions. I really, really, really want to make use of this opportunity to, gain different perspectives and understand more about how they used to look at life, how they used to, how to put it, how they used to see the world. For instance, one cup of coffee that I would like to share with Mother Teresa. I really want to ask, at times I'll be very honest, at times I really feel lost that, I work for something selflessly, but at times things land up hurting me or falling on the opposite side, or how to put it, I don't know. I'm pretty sure anybody who's doing anybody who's doing trying to bring a change in the community might have come across some situation sometime or the other. So if I was to ask about um, community engagement or about bringing a change and how to keep your motivation going even when things are not working out or things are going against your way, I would really like to know that from Mother Teresa. I also have a strong professional inclination towards science and generative research. I would definitely not want to miss an opportunity to talk to Albert Einstein as well, right? And yeah, like that. And that is why there are so many different people who contribute. Another, I would say, in my heart, I find Ratan Tata ji as a big patriot who has contributed so much to the country. And definitely his a lot of his work, infrastructure, might seem business, but he also had opportunities to flourish it in different ways. But he has always been beside along with India, and he's contributed so much to the economy, so much to the growth of the country. And that sense of patriotism. So a cup of coffee to really absorb his patriotism, to understand how you know in this pool of people who are going leaps and bounds to grow, how did he grow while maintaining that patriotism, contributing so much to the country? So yeah, and definitely, I mean, it's not exactly history, but yeah, I would also like to, like have a cup of coffee with Priyanka Chopra and to know, she's a big time global citizen, and my hobby is theater. So I really want to also know more about cinema, the Bollywood industry, Hollywood industry, and I think she's the best person that has experience from all sides, right? And definitely, you listen to interviews from Aishwarya Rai, the answers they give, the way they present themselves, the way they speak for women, the way they speak for the country. It's again so inspiring. So, I mean, yeah, I would really not want to have a cup of coffee with only one person. could be so many different. I mean, I can go on and on, but these are some names that come to my thought when I think that, okay, about this, where to seek inspiration from, about this, where to seek inspiration from, so on and so forth. I mean, I know I've not answered your question technically because I have like just made use of an opportunity to get whatever I can, but still,
Yeah.
that's the honest answer from my side.
No, actually, it's actually a great answer. And you were talking about Mother Teresa. So it just, if I would have an opportunity, like I had the same answer similarly, that I wouldn't just confine myself to one person because there's a lot to learn from different individuals who have impacted history. But if I had to choose one, I think I would go for Dr. Abdul Kalam, of course, because I really wanted to ask him if I would get a chance about his thoughts during his first rocket launch, because usually people cross question themselves or think about what if something wrong happens, or should we start something new or not, or what if something backfires. So I would have loved to ask him what were his thoughts, because people usually keep on thinking about what if something goes wrong and they don't start. But I think taking the first step towards something is really hard, but also really important, that impacts your entire journey. So something, a little bit of conversation about that would be what I would love to talk to him about.
Definitely, Namya, you brought up something really important. I mean, I am somewhat stuck in that phase right now where I'm really questioning everything that I've done, everything, because I'm in a phase where I'm applying to PhD programs and things are not working out, things are working out, somewhere in the middle, totally messed up. So yeah, that having confidence in yourself, even if nobody's besides you, and even if you know things are tough, is really important. So yeah, I do invite me as a third wheel when you meet him.
Of course, I would. All right. So before we sign off for today, we would love to know where we can find you online and what message you would like to give to the audience that is listening to us right now.
Okay, so online, at professionally, I am active on LinkedIn. My profile name is Dr. Oshin Puri. I actively respond to messages there. I am also active on Twitter at the rate Oshin Puri too. Again, I'm active to respond to messages there. And then at a more informal front, I'm usually using Instagram, but these days I'm a little off Instagram. So yeah, that's set aside. And for professional purposes, you can email me, and to email me, you can either directly go to my website ocean-puri.com and type out your email in the contact me box, or you can email me at puriocean@gmail.com. And yeah, I think that's more or less how you can find me online. And a message for the audience today. I think my first answer itself captured my message, that each of you has immense potential that you're not aware of. Right? Immense potential in whatever you want to do. All you need to do is have faith in you. And even if you don't have faith in yourself, I have faith in you. Right? If you need faith from outside, I have faith in you that you really have the potential to change the world. So, if not with your own faith, take my faith and move ahead, because together we can really change the world.
So true. I totally agree with that. And listening to your thoughts today have just reminded me of this similar quote, like what you said, is that you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. So thank you so much, Dr. Ocean, for your time and sharing these wonderful thoughts with the audience today. And I'm sure everybody is inspired, and they know that you're there who has faith in them, and they will surely strive to do something amazing in life.
Thank you so much, Namya, for giving me this platform to share my thoughts and to an opportunity to inspire people through your wonderful, wonderful podcast. Definitely, Namya, you're a big time inspiration for me. I mean, honestly speaking, big time. And to everybody who's listening, as Namya said, I have faith in you. So go ahead and change the world.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us and listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one teach 10. Have a nice day.